A village on the edge of a dense, dark African forest. A small village in the heat of summer, with cracked earth and drying trees under a cloudless, oppressive sky. The renowned hunter Kofi, standing strong and determined. An African man with piercing eyes, wearing traditional hunting attire, carrying a bow and looking fearlessly into the forest. Kofi disappearing into the dark forest at night. A single figure, blending into the shadows of a thick forest, illuminated only by a faint moon. A quiet village with whispers of worry and fear. Villagers gathered under a large tree, whispering and exchanging worried glances as children cling to their mothers. A barren, drought-stricken landscape. Cracked earth, parched bushes, and a river reduced to a dry, cracked stream bed. The tense faces of elders warning Kofi not to go deeper. Elders with stern expressions and worried eyes, shaking their heads at Kofi. Kofi returning from the forest, looking skeletal and haunted. A gaunt, thin figure with lifeless eyes and a distant gaze, clothes tattered and face hollow. A close-up of Kofi's wide, unblinking eyes. Haunted eyes that stare past everything, hollow and lifeless. Dogs backing away from Kofi, scared and whimpering. Dogs with their tails tucked, crouching and avoiding the hunter, senses alert to something unnatural. Kofi sitting alone outside his hut, staring into the dark forest. A solitary figure in the dark, lit by a faint fire, sitting stiffly and staring into the shadows. The villagers locking their doors at night. Worried villagers pulling doors shut, latching them, and peeking out through small gaps in fear. A mother warning her child not to look at Kofi. A mother holding her child close, one hand over her child's eyes, as she glances nervously at Kofi in the distance. Kofi wandering the village at night, whispering to himself. A shadowed figure shuffling through empty village paths, muttering strange words in an unknown language. A young boy sneaking out at night to follow Kofi. A small, curious figure hiding behind a tree, eyes wide, following Kofi from a safe distance. Kofi walking through the forest at night, moving like he's in a trance. A stiff, shadowy figure moving unnaturally through dense, twisted trees. Deep inside the forest, a clearing under the moonlight. A small, eerie clearing surrounded by towering, twisted trees, lit only by a faint glow of moon. Kofi digging furiously with his bare hands in the dirt. Bloodied hands scraping at the earth, fingernails broken, dirt flying as he digs with desperation. An ancient, cracked wooden mask half buried in the ground. A haunting mask with twisted features, partially uncovered in the dirt, its hollow eyes staring upward. A close-up of the wooden mask's disturbing features. Cracked, aged wood with an exaggerated, twisted mouth and black, empty eyes. Kofi holding up the mask, his eyes transfixed. A thin, ghostly figure holding up the mask, eyes wide with a strange fascination, almost in a trance. Kofi putting on the mask, focused. His face half covered as he raises the mask to his face, shadows dancing across his skin. Kofi's body twitching and contorting unnaturally. An eerie figure in agony, limbs jerking and twisting as if controlled by invisible strings. The chilling half scream, half laugh echoing. An open mouth on mid-screen, exaggerated with wild, desperate eyes. The image echoing with sound. The young boy running through the forest in terror. A small figure sprinting through dark trees, looking back over his shoulder with wide, terrified eyes. A ghostly figure of Kofi with a mask, half hidden in the shadows. A glimpse of Kofi in the shadows, the mask's twisted features just visible, watching from a distance. A view of the village at dawn, the people gathering in confusion. Villagers with anxious expressions, exchanging fearful glances as they realize Kofi is gone. The hunter's empty hut, abandoned and eerie. A small hut with an open door, a silent, empty room filled with a strange, foreboding air. A glimpse of the ancient mask half hidden in a mask's eyes glinting in the shadows, partially visible among twisted tree roots and dead leaves. The boy's haunted face as he remembers what he saw. A young face, wide-eyed, haunted by memories, looking off into the distance. The silent, empty forest, dense and mysterious. The deep, ancient forest with twisted trees and dense shadows, quiet and unsettling as if something watches from within.